What's up, Copy Squad? It's your boy, Kyle Milligan, coming to you live from Delray Beach, Florida. And today, I want to talk about how to dig out your big idea. I just want to say I'm feeling really good today because I'm back on my schedule. I'm back on my routine and on my grind. And it's weird because over the past week, I was traveling and I just could not get stuff done. Couldn't find Wi-Fi. I couldn't find a quiet place to work. I had all this housing stuff going on with this new condo I was trying to get, popping up and going all over the place. Just tons of distractions. Today was like the first time I truly got back on my routine, and I just feel 1,000% happier. Like, I'm not going to go on this tangent. I might come back to this at the end. I want to talk about progress actually now. But today we're talking about how to dig out your big idea. I'm going to write down talk about progress. And, okay. So this video idea comes from a guy who sent me an email, and he said, I'm gonna start the narrow with his email, and then we're gonna expand it bigger in how to dig out your big idea, because I think this is something that everybody kind of wants to know, right? They've written books on this topic, and people recommend it and pass it around Reddit communities and Facebook groups and all that stuff. So the question was basically, hey man, I'm trying to write a letter for a financial publication, but I want to know, like, whenever you write a promotion and you tease blank blank report, okay, did the stock in that report already exist in your portfolio? Like, did you have to ask? Did you have to find it, etc., etc.? And I think that answer is a very short and sweet one. It's going to be one of those annoying answers. It depends. I've written promos where we went and had like the idea first. Like, okay, we want to figure out a back door into this thing. Or we'll say, like, I just have a stock that I really like, and here's how I want to present it. Like, really depends on your personality guru, whoever it is you're talking to. They have to be on board, or their analysts have to be on board and say, this is a stock I would feel comfortable recommending. So the short and sweet on that, like finding your big idea through that process, it's going to depend person to person. If you've got a stock that you love and you think you have an idea tied to it, present it to the person. Say, hey man, would you get behind this? If you're writing spec work, if you're just writing for practice and you're just throwing it out in front of someone to see if they like your writing and trying to get a job or something, just write it. Because that's what you're looking for, is a job anyway, right? Or maybe you're looking to sell the letter. I'm not sure, man. You have to talk to that person. Don't ask me. Ask your guru. Like, would they approve this stock? Again, so for us, it's kind of like, it depends. I can't just say, yeah, pick the stock and then pick this. I'm not a stock picker. I don't know anything about stocks that might make $1 million. I find it out from the analyst and the guru. That's their job, right? My job's to sexify it up, make it really appealing so people buy the letter, right? It's not my job to pick stocks. Copywriting isn't the end-all be-all of the sales. I mean, we're part of a process. That's why I feel comfortable writing really exciting copy for financial copy and financial newsletters, because there are really, really, really talented analysts and professionals who pick these stocks, and they have incredible portfolios. So it's totally cool for me, in my conscience, to hype that stuff up, because I've seen incredible returns. They are really smart when it comes to picking these stocks. So copywriter's job is to write copy, baby. Start there. All right. So let's talk about developing your big idea. Right, we're already a couple minutes in here and haven't even talked about the big idea. So I think I want to talk about the process of digging out the big idea. So it kind of starts, like everything, with research. You have to do the research. So right now, I'll tell you 3 different examples. Okay, 1, I'm in the process right now. I am in the very first, earliest phases of digging out a big idea, and that starts with me looking at what I know the guru and publication and his product I want to write for. So what I'm doing is I'm reading all of his reports. I'm reading all of his emails. It's in the biopharma industry. It's in like medical technology. And I know nothing about medical technology. Nothing. So I've got to go and do my research and figure out what this dude's been saying is the hot thing. Like, what is he excited about right now? And then I'm going to figure out something that he's already on board with that I can sell. Or I can get so immersed in it that I find something like cutting edge out there on the fringes that I think will be very exciting to his audience. You know, something that's very similar in the same vein. But it starts with research. Okay, so that's one. That's one example. I saw it there. Okay, I'm seeing this happening now. But before I ever have a big idea, it starts here reading all his stuff. All right, I also saw it on my video series I'm creating. Okay, cool. So if you didn't know already, I wrote a book called Take Their Money on the Big 4 Emotions. Basically, if you speak to these big 4 emotions, you can sell virtually anything. Those 4 emotions are new, easy, safe, and big, okay? You can find out more about that book at kylethewriter.com/book. Okay, now when you go to that website, kylethewriter.com/book, you'll see my sales letter, my sales page for my book. Now here's a cool product I'm creating now, and I'm seeing this happen again. So what I've done is I saved every single draft of that sales letter, okay? And comment if you're interested in learning more about this. I saved every single draft of that sales letter. And from the time I wrote basically the skeleton outline to I started like, I could see it now because I'd have to go back and analyze every one of these. So I saved the changes from day 1 to day 2. Then I saved the changes from day 2 to day 3. Then I saved the changes from day 3 to day 4. And what I'm seeing is like, wow, my first draft was kind of garbage. It was super vague. It's just like a skeleton that says nothing. And I noticed that after the second draft and third draft, I start to build it out and I get more and more specific. And that's the research process that fills in that body and turns it into like a really strong sales letter. What I noticed though is I was just kind of writing very generic copy that did not have a big idea, that did not have a USP. It had no real direction. It was just copy for the sake of copy. It was like, I've got secrets that'll make you money, and that was all I had for claims. I had no mechanism, I had no USP, I had no anything else. It was just like, I've got secrets that'll make you money. And I was like, okay. And it's crazy because now that I look back and see it, I can see that it was the research that actually built this out. So here's the order that I'm seeing it unfold in, getting the big idea, right? So I've got the blank stuff, and then I start to fill it in with research, and it was through doing the research that I discovered Antonio Damasio. And Antonio Damasio is like my big-time case study for the emotional center of the brain. So Antonio Damasio is the neuroscientist who found out that all your decisions are made at the emotional center of your brain. And I just knew of that vaguely. I just knew of the whole, like, maxim that you should sell on emotion, right? You buy on emotion, justify on logic or something like that. I just knew of that. I was vaguely aware of it, but I never had like a scientific study to back it. And it was while I was doing the research that I discovered that. And that was such a eye-opening, like I was like, wow, that's really important because I'm selling to emotion. I'm selling on emotion-based selling. And I saw that and I grabbed onto that. And you'll see if, so what I was talking about just a moment ago, I'm creating an entire product around this where I'm going to break down day by day the research that I did and how I developed this. It starts at this blah idea, and then it becomes a unique kind of, I have a USP now. Oh, we're not just selling secrets, we're selling secrets that speak directly to the emotional brain. And from there, all right, we started at idea, moved to USP, right? My idea was I got secrets that'll make you rich that I learned from copywriting. And then I was like, oh wait, I got secrets that speak directly to the emotional brain that'll make you rich, that are scientifically backed, that I learned from copywriting. And then I have my headline, the $7.1 million secrets to getting more from your advertising, right? And that's like my big idea. And it came in reverse order. It came from the writing and the research that I started to find this stuff. I was digging out the big idea. And Michael Masterson talks about this in his book called Ready, Fire, Aim. It's an amazing book. You know what's funny? I say it's an amazing book, but I've only read the first quarter. I'll explain why. So Michael Masterson breaks Ready, Fire, Aim into like 0 to 10 million, I think it is. And 0 to 1 million is the first section. And then it's 1 million to 2 or 1 million to 10. Yeah, no, the whole book is 0 to 100 million. So it's 0 to 1, 1 to 10, and then 10 to like 50, and then 50 to 100, or something like that. But basically, I didn't read past 0 to 1. I read the first section of the book because I have yet to make $1 million with this YouTube channel. So I've only read 0 to 1, and that's where I've stopped. So I still say it's an amazing book. And this is what Michael Masterson says about the big idea. He basically explained it the way that I just explained. I'll give you another example that you can use and carry. It starts with the idea, right? It starts with your vague idea. You get a USP, unique selling proposition, and then you use that USP to generate your big idea. Okay, so that's the process. So for me, it was, I've got secrets to make you rich with copywriting. And then I was like, okay, well, what's my unique angle? My unique angle is I speak a language specifically to the emotional brain. All right? So now instead of secrets that make you rich, it's secrets to speak directly to the emotional brain. God, why won't this focus? Secrets that'll speak directly to the emotional brain that will make you rich. That's my unique thing. Now what's my big idea? These are $7.1 million secrets to getting more out of your advertising. And I keep tweaking and tweaking and tweaking. So here's the example he gave in his book, Ready, Fire, Aim. The idea. a website that contains inspirational messages. Okay, that's a summation. A summation. Website that contains inspirational messages. His USP. The only website based on teachings of Confucius. And this is an example, right? And then the big idea. So basically, once you have your USP, a website based on the teachings of Confucius, you dig into Confucius, man. You learn all about Confucius, and then you've got this big idea. Speaking well increases personal power, all right? So Confucius says the man who speaks well has the power of 5 men, right? So instead of, he went from idea, like we have a website that contains inspirational messages, and now the big idea comes out to be, basically you can speak well, you can increase your personal power. Now it's all about speaking well, right? So it's the same thing with like what I was doing with my sales letter for my book. It started with, I got secrets that'll make you rich. Then the big idea came out to be, I've got a $7.1 million secret to teach you how to speak to the emotional brain, right? And that's kind of like the same thing, but different. Same, but different. So when you're developing your big idea, what I want to illustrate, what I'm hoping I'm conveying, is that this is a process, right? Like you don't just, like I know some people say you just pop and have that big idea, but that's like, I think J.K. Rowling wasn't famous until the 3rd Harry Potter, right? And then she was an overnight success, right? Then she was an overnight success. It's the same thing with the big idea. It's after you have your original vague idea, and then you figure out your USP, and you've dug into the research, that you have one of those aha moments with the big idea, right? And I preach that all the time. It starts with the research. It starts with the research. It starts with the research. Yes, you might have that moment where that, oh, snap. But what do I say always happens before that? You pile raw materials into your brain. You overload it. And I'm circling right back. I noticed today when I was recording videos where I was, and this is something I'm going to offer you guys. I'm offering this as a product. I'm recording the videos of me analyzing my draft by draft progress of my sales letter. And today I saw it. I said, wow, this is just a vague, stupid idea. And I started digging into the research, and I pulled up my research doc on the video, and I was like, look at all the research I did. And then through doing that, like I had like several pages of just research on February 16th. And the second draft was titled February 17th. There was no writing on February 16th, just reading. And I marked like all the websites and stuff that I read for that entire day. That's all I did. I just sat there and read about scientifically speaking to the emotional center of the brain. Like once I had that idea, I was like, oh, that's unique. I could use that. And this is that. I learned about Antonio Damasio. I learned about all that stuff. And then I broke it down to one case. This guy named Elliot. And the way his brain worked fine when his emotional center of his brain got damaged. He could be a rational human being. He could do math. His memory, all that stuff worked fine. Except he couldn't make decisions. And I grabbed that. That was my unique thing. Without your emotional center of your brain, you cannot make decisions. And therefore, all people make buying decisions based on emotion. And that was like, pow, that's like my big thing, right? So now I've got this language that speaks directly to the emotional center of the brain. It's called copywriting. And it'll make you a bunch of money. I call it the $7.1 million secret language, right? I also call it emotion-based selling. So, comment if you're interested in that product. That's definitely something I'm creating. I have another thing right here about doing more copywriting breakdowns. Oh, I know why. Because Nesby, new, easy, safe, and big, right? You go to kylewriter.com/book. My book, Take Their Money, is about these big 4 emotions. New, easy, safe, and big, called Nesby. And I discovered those. My big idea for Nesby came from the same exact process. I had this idea. The idea was, I'm going to break down copywriting promos on a YouTube channel. Comment if you want more of those copywriting breakdowns. I say comment, and I'm going to wait 2 or 3 seconds. I say comment if you want more. Now, here's the funny thing. If a bunch of you comment and say you want more, you're liars. Because every time I do one of those, it gets like abysmal view counts. Like, nobody watches those things. I've had people email me and say, I miss those. Yeah, you and like 2 other people. Not to discredit you. I do love you all individually. You're all special snowflakes. But yeah, direct response marketers look at the numbers, dude. We know you're liars. So anyway, comment if you want some more copywriting breakdowns. Maybe I'll do some. So anyway, my idea was I'm going to just do copywriting on YouTube. I have no idea what it is I'm going to do or how I'm going to do it. I'm just going to start breaking down sales letters on YouTube. And then through that research, breaking down sales letters constantly, over and over and over and over, I started to see the patterns, right? So that was my vague idea, copywriting on YouTube. And then my USP started to emerge through the research. The USP was like, new, easy, safe, and big. New, easy, safe, and big. I keep seeing this over and over and over. So it wasn't like I just had this idea for new, easy, safe, and big. It came from the exact same process I've illustrated twice already. This is the third time. I said I was going to tell you 3 different ways, so this is the third time. I found it eventually through the research, quote, quote, doing the work. So it was through breaking down sales letters every day that the USP started to come out to me. And I was like, oh, snap. I had this vague idea of teaching copywriting, but now I have a unique way of doing it. I'm speaking directly to these big 4 emotions. I can see that that is critical to every sales letter success. All right? And then my big promise came out. Take their money. I have a secret language that'll teach you how to speak directly to the emotional brain and make you a bunch of money, potentially, right? So again, the big idea doesn't, like, yes, it pops. Like, once it pops, people like think that's, oh, wow, he's just brilliant. And that can be for anything. There was another one, you know, like, damn, I wish I could remember all these overnight success stories. But basically, every overnight success has like 4 years of work before it that you never even saw or cared about. So all these big genius ideas usually come preloaded. They come front-loaded with a bazillion hours of like information gathering, research, stuffing your brain full of raw material. And I think the problem is I do not do a good job of sexifying that up. I need to think of a cool way to call it. Like, that's what my boy Frank Kern does. He thinks of mundane stuff. Like, I call it research. He would call it like, man, I guess I could call it raw material gathering, but that's not sexy either. He would call it like fueling up or something like that. He would give it some sort of cool name that would sound like you're about to burn the house down and it's just gonna rain money, right? Once I figure out a word for that instead of research, you guys will probably pay a lot more attention. Everybody will pay a lot more attention. And that's nothing against you. That's science. You just need a buzzword. You need something cool, new and novel, right? New and unique. New, easy, safe, and big. That's what makes you remember things. That's what makes things sticky. That's why Nesby sticks in your brain. No one else has ever said Nesby to you. No one's ever said copywriting is a secret language that speaks directly to the emotional center of your brain. But I say it every day, and it's sticky because no one's ever said it before. It's new and novel. All right, guys. So a couple things. We're wrapping up now. But I wanted to just drop this, a couple ideas. If you comment if you want to see those videos of me going over how I wrote my sales letter. Basically, I'm going to show you how to write a sales letter and how to do the research in real time. Like, here I go. I wrote this, and then I wrote that, and then I wrote this, and then I wrote that. And again, like, if you're looking for someone to hold your hand, I don't know if you'll get any closer than this, dude. I mean, it's going to be me on video talking you through a sales letter. Comment if you're interested in that. I've asked a couple times, but I'd like to ask again for newcomers. Comment if you're interested in seeing more copywriting breakdowns. I think I might come back to that. I get a lot of good ideas from breaking down copy. That's like one of my, I mean, that's like the most fundamental, that's like the most, like, grassroots way to come up with ideas and copy and stuff like that, okay? And so developing the big idea starts with the research, comes from a vague idea, and then digging into that idea with research, and then in that research you find a unique element that becomes your USP. And then the why does this keep going blurry? And then the USP, from your USP, you spin out the big idea, okay? You spin out the big idea, like, and then it's like one of those aha moments, but it comes preloaded with a bunch of research. All right, guys. Oh, I wanted to talk about progress. Okay, talking about progress. I'm going to circle back to the beginning of this video. I said I wanted to bookmark something about progress. I read that the emotional thing that's more important than money is the feeling or emotion of progress. So what makes us go to work and be happy human beings every day is the feeling that we've progressed. That's why I think 2 hours of deep work is very important. I might make a whole video about this. 2 hours of deep work allows you a chance at progress because those 2 hours are only focused on the things that move the needle in your life. So you always get progress after 2 hours of deep work. It feels so much better than answering emails, attending meetings, or all the shit where you're just spinning your wheels. Progress makes a happy worker. And that's why deep work is so powerful. All right, Copy Squad. I hope you tuned in to the end. Every one of my videos always has the best stuff at the end. So you got to watch to the end, guys. Thanks so much for tuning in. Check out my book. It's called Take Their Money. It'll teach you emotion-based selling. How to sell to the big 4 emotions. It's at kylethewriter.com/book. Peace out. Copy Squad.